Today we'll be building a tic-tac-toe game using Rust. First, let's write the algorithm. First, we'll have a 2D array and define two players X and O. It will be a mutable 2D array because we'll be updated that. Next, we'll take inputs from users, add validation and print the board. After that, we will define one function called checkWinner. We will have one more function called checkDraw. Yeah, this is pretty much it. Now let's start the coding. Here I have initialized one cargo project. Now let's start with main function. First, we will define a function that will take the inputs from user. We will use stdio for taking the users from input. Here we need to define for which player we need to get the coordinates. So for that we need to define our players. So here const player X and it will be a character type, const player O, it will be a character type, and we need to define a 2D mutable array for printing our board. So type, so think of it like a alias. Now define a board type and it will be a 2D array. Also define the board size. It will be a 3x3. And let's say it will be a U size of 3. Yeah, so we have here defined a board type. Think of it like an alias of our 2D array. Now here we need to show for which player we need the coordinates. So here let's define the current player. Say player X, and it will be a mutable type. We'll define one input here. String new. Stdin dot readline, and inside readline it will be a mutable of input. And we will add here except. We have added the validation check here. Now we need to divide the input. So from user we will get coordinates like this, 1 0 or 0 0, but we need this as a separate array. So for that, we need to split it. Let's define a coordinates. We'll trim the input, then remove white space, split white space, then flat map. We'll pass it as a string, and then collect. So let me explain this one. So from user we will get 0 1. So this is a string type, but we need to break. So we need to break this as a separate two strings. So for that, this trim function will remove the excess white spaces, and this split white space will split this, and from this it will convert like this, and it will be a vector because user will enter the values. So it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be any numbers, right? So for that, vector is useful because vector is dynamic in size, unlike fixed size array. And it will be like this. If you have any doubt, you can comment. So this code will break down into this. Okay, cool. Now let's add the validations here. So coordinates must be in length 2, else add a validation println input should be in length of 2. Okay, if the length is 2, then we'll define the row and call. So then coordinates of 0, it will be row. Let coordinates of 1 is equal to column. Okay, now we need to check is the row and column is valid or not. So for that, check row is greater than board size or not, because our board size is 3, and if user enter 4 5, then we'll get the error. So then we must give an error, right? So for that we'll add a validation here, then call and also need to check the size, and also need to check the entered coordinates, it's already occupied or not. So for that we need to pass the board here. So before passing the board here, we need to define the board. So let mute of board is equal to board size, then board size. Okay, so we'll pass a reference of board. So here we need to check. So here we need to check the board is occupied or not. Okay, So if it's not occupied, then if it's not occupied, if 0 greater than both size, greater than both size, and okay, so here we need to return row and column, use size and use size. Okay, now return if it's satisfied, then return row and call. Okay, else define this enter a value that is valid as of now. Okay. But it should be here, because if it's not, then throw error. If all this are satisfied, then come here. Okay, it's good, and it should be inside a loop. For that, let row and call, catch catch the row and call here. Loop. Okay, so this is done, this is done, add validation is done. Now this print board is pending. So yeah, this is, now let's define the print board function. Print board. Okay, so now let's write the print board function. For here also we need to pass the reference of board. Okay, and it will be, we need to accept that also. Let's run a for loop here. Board size, and inside that we will have another loop for column. Board size, and we need to print that board row call. Okay, So this will do our job. Let's test it. Whatever we have done, let's test it one. So for run the code, we'll run cargo run. Okay, we're getting one error. Remove this. Okay, as of now we are not using it. Cool. We'll do all this mutation later. List. Okay, so we have missed one part, that is update the boat. So here we need to update the boat. So let's define the boat and then row call and current player. So for this it should be a mutable reference. Yeah, I think yeah, so this part was missing, that's why we are getting the error. So we have now updated the boat. Now let's run the code once and check. Okay, current player expected. Let's see what we are getting. Yeah, now it's working, guys. Please enter the coordinates for X player. So I'll enter 0 1 and yeah, it's print here. Cool. Now let's check the now let's write the check winner function. Fn check winner. Here also we need to pass boat and current player, and we need to define it here, current player char. Okay, so for checking the winner we need to do the looping. So now let's come here. So let's define this. So let's define the coordinate. So this is 0 0, this is 0 1, this is 0 2. So this is our coordinates, and first the winner should be this, or this, or this crisscross. So this should be the winner condition. So for that we need to add check 0 0 0 1, 0 0 0 1 and 0 2 are in current player or not. Okay, so for that let's add a for loop for row equal to current player, and it will be 0 with 0 0 0 1 0 2, in next iteration 1 0 1 1 1 2, in the next iteration 2 0 2 1 2 2, 2 0 2 1 2 2, 1 0 1 1 1 2, 0 0 0 1 0 2. So for this straight line check. All these three checks are done using this for loop. So if it's satisfied, then return true. That means we have got our winner, and define the return type here, and if it's not, then return the false. Great. Now run another for loop for checking this condition. So for this, user must satisfy 001020. So if this is satisfied with the current player, then we can say this player is the winner. So for that, we need to define this loop. If 0 column is equal to current player, return true. So for first iteration it will be 001020, 001020. If it is satisfied, then player is the winner. In the next iteration it will be 011121, 011121. If this case satisfied, then it's a winner. In third iteration it will be 021222, 021222. So if this case is satisfied, then this is the winner. Now only one thing is pending, that is this crisscross winner. Okay, so for that we'll define a if statement, and it will be both 001122. Okay, 00 the current player, 01 the current player, and both 001122. It will be 11, it will be 22 to current player. Or so this case is satisfied, but now this is pending 201102. So now let's define this 02 equal to current player, and both 1111 is equal to current player, and 20. Then return true. Yeah, so all these three cases are satisfied here. So our check winner function is done. Now let's go to our algorithm. This check draw, this function is pending. Let's write it. So this will be a very simple function. For here also we'll pass reference of board and current player, and we'll accept it here, and we'll return a boolean type. So here we will check if any of these coordinates is blank or not. If any of these coordinate it's not blank, then it's a draw, right? So for this let's define this for loop. So this for loop will be same as this print box, print board. Board size, okay, now it will be a nested loop called column, and board size, and we will have a check. If check that board row and board column is equal to if it has empty cell, then return false, else return true. That means our game is a draw. Here we don't need this current player. Okay, and this should be in a loop, right? Okay, and also one thing is missing, that is we need to change the player. Change player. So we need to assign this player O. If current player is equal to player X, then current player should be player O, else current player is equal to player X. It is done. It will be a mutable reference because we are updating it. Yeah, this is done. And one more thing is pending. If the current user is winner, then we need to break it. So this is pretty simple. Just print the board once for the winner and then break it. We have to do the same thing for if the game is draw, and then also we need to break the loop. So this is our final code. Once here we have used stdio, and after that we have defined two players. We have defined board type 2D array, and this is our function get coordinates from users. Here we are getting the users input and we are splitting it from white spaces, and after that we are adding the validation checks. If length is 2, then fine, otherwise we are throwing error message, and if all the validation is satisfied, we are returning our row and column value. Here this function is for printing our board. Here I have done some changes. Previously we are using println, now we are using print, because we need to display all the values in a row. Yeah, that's the small changes. And after that, this is the function for check winners, and here the function for check draw. That's it. And here we are running the loop, we are getting the coordinates from this function, we are updating the value here in the board, then we are printing the board. If winner found, then we are breaking the loops. If the game is draw, then we are breaking the loops, and we are updating the player based on check. Yeah, that's our code. Let's run the code once. Let's do cargo run. Yeah, please enter the coordinates for player X. Let's say 0 0. Yeah, board is printed. Coordinates for player O, so it's 0 1, right? For player X again 1 1. Now for player O should be 1 0. Now for player X, let's say it's 2 2. Yeah, game is exited. Here we need to um, print a message saying winner is player current player. This is it. Here game is draw. Yeah, here it should show this message winner is player. Now let's rerun the code. Cargo run. It's compiled successfully. For player X 0 0, for player O 0 1, again for player X, player O 1 0, sorry 1 space 0, and lastly enter the coordinates for player X 2 2. Winner is player X, so we're able to see it's a winner. Thank you guys. If you have any doubts you can comment it out. Surely I will reply. Thank you guys.